Deborah in the critically acclaimed Broadway musical, Kimberly Akimbo. It's about a teenage girl with a medical condition that causes her to grow old prematurely. At the Tonys, Bonnie concluded her acceptance speech with a very beautiful plea for inclusion.
I want to tell everybody that doesn't maybe look like what the world is telling you you should look like. Whether you're not pretty enough, you're not fit enough, your identity is not right, who you love isn't right, that doesn't matter, because guess what? It's right. And you belong somewhere.
That, in a nutshell, we say this over and over again, is why I love, love, love the Broadway community.
They
and
speak
it is
to
the
everybody.
most, it is the most inclusive. It doesn't matter who you are, who you love, what you look like.
That's right.
All are welcome.
Yeah.
So, without any further ado, Bonnie Milligan is joining us live this morning, right here on the couch. Hello and welcome to our Tony winner.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Felicidades.
We're so happy to have you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, watching that back, are you getting all the feels? Has it sunk in yet? I know it's been a beat, but
It's sort of surreal, like, because the next day you get to have it all night, and then the next day they collect it to be engraved.
Wait, I didn't know
so
that.
I don't have it right now. So a part of me is like, was that real?
Oh, no.
But I
Wait,
think
why
it
didn't I know
is.
this? Oh my goodness.
So they give you the Tony.
So you get like the photo ops with it all
Yes.
night, and then the next day they take it back to engrave it with your name on it.
Were you like,
But
I'm gonna you're gonna bring this
You're like,
back,
bye,
right?
sweetheart. I'll see you in a little bit.
My mom and my brother were in town, so they were literally coming over to my apartment at the same time as my Tony was being taken, and they were like, "What's happening?"
What's
I was like, "I know, I get it back."
So it's going to be all over again when it returns with you
with
know,
the
everything
name.
engraved.
I think that'll be emotional.
And where are you gonna put it?
I have like a little. One of my little dresser pieces where I have
sure.
a couple of other awards on. I'm gonna put it right
just
there.
a couple. Just a couple.
Just a couple.
Add to the collection.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So when you get the award,
Yeah.
what was going on in your head at the time once you realized you won?
When I heard my name, I immediately thought, oh my gosh, I have 90 seconds. They're very intense to tell you beforehand. You have 90 seconds from the time they call your name to end your speech. That means to get to the stage, to say what you got to say, and go.
So you're doing like a power walk at this point, I think.
And I was in a tall heel.
Of course,
Which
you
and
look
I'm
fabulous.
And thank you so much. And I'm a klutz. So all I could think was, please do not fall.
Don't trip.
And my side of the stage didn't have railings, and the
come on.
other did. Like the plays got railings.
Oh,
the
come on.
musicals did.
Come on.
Because they think
And
y'all are
so
more nimble
I was
because
like-
you're singing and dancing.
Oh no! So I literally was like, "How am I going to get up these stairs in my gown, in my heels?" And I've got some notes in my hand because I knew I'd emotionally black out, and I absolutely did.
Thank you.
And so all I could think was, I pray that someone helps me up the stage. And God bless Wayne Brady. He did. He did. He helped me up.
He
Of
saw
all the
you. Did
people
you
to
lock
help
eyes? Or he was like, let me go help Bonnie.
You know, I felt the hand coming as the stress was entering the body. I was like, oh, God. It was
Like a savior from
like
heaven.
a savior from
Wayne
heaven.
Brady.
Wayne Brady.
Oh my
Her,
gosh.
Angel.
her Tony Angel. I love. Thank you for the
fantastic.
speak behind the curtain.
Because you all look so composed.
Yeah.
So put together and
And I was like right next to my mom and my brother. And so I had told them before, I was like, if I win, I have 90 seconds, so I'm gonna run. And she's like, can I hug you? And I was like, of course, but it's gotta be quick.
it's a quick
I can't
second.
like linger.
Yeah,
We can linger
Because I knew I had
afterwards.
bullet points of people I wanted to thank, but that also knew I wanted to say something to America. It's a national platform. I want to say something. Girls like me don't always get up there. And I wanted to say that for not just girls like me, but everybody of all genders. And then like as it was coming, I was like, I have to speak to so many people right now. And so kind of like, you know, like I said, emotional blackout. You're just like, I don't know, I'm supposed to be speaking. Wow. So anyway, I had said to my mom, and I go, and if I don't win, I need you to smile. Oh my and she was like, I will. And I was like, I don't know that she will. So I was just hoping that they would say my name for my mother's sake.
I'm sweating
also
right now
really,
listening to this.
I've been in this, you know, business for a while. I knew everybody in my category, and I love them all so dearly. As artists, they're so good. So it was likely anybody could win. So I was just like, please don't be mean to my friend.
Oh my God!
And luckily, they said my name.
I would have
there
been
was
like,
so much stress for this poor
I know.
woman.
There was so much happening. There was a lot happening.
You planned
which
ahead.
is why I said emotional blackout.
Yes,
There's
you
a lot
planned
going.
ahead. You made the bullets, but like still, even the whole emotionalness of the whole thing, I feel like that would just be cascading through me.
Fact.
Now, you also mentioned in your acceptance speech, this is I remember this from when I spoke to you, that you were given an extension
Oh my gosh.
for your audition process when you
Yes.
didn't think you could make it. So please share that story with us.
Wow.
Right before the pandemic, my dad had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And so I had been traveling back and forth. He was in the Detroit area, and I had gigs and I had stuff, so I would go somewhere and I would come back, and I had a thing in Texas and I went back. And this last trip, I had a backpack with me because I had,
You had
my
stuff.
luggage
You had
had taken
stuff.
forever the trip before. I had waited for an hour for it, and I was like, I don't want to check
Not
a
again.
bag.
Yeah.
So I had a backpack, and Broadway shut down. This was like March 12th, and so I was like, should I go back? And I had all these gigs that were slowly being canceled.
Oh, gosh.
I was supposed to sing with Betty Buckley at the Cafe Carlisle.
Oh, come on.
And she called to say that's not happening, and I was like, okay. And then I had a show at the end of the month, got canceled, and I thought, what if airports shut down?
Right.
This was like March 2020. So I was supposed to come back on the 15th, and I said, my brother lives in Illinois, and he had driven up. My mom's in Ohio, so I said, can you drop me off at mom's on the way? I'm not going to go to the airport, I think.
Yeah.
It'll be a couple weeks.
Or 3
Which
years.
turned into 11 months.
Right.
In my 30s, back home with mom. And so
Fun.
So did you call the...
I didn't have any panic attacks.
Did you call the
I had so
director
many.
and say... Did you call the
lot.
director? You were like, I can't do this. I gotta...
Well, so the beginning of the month, I had received an email, would you be interested in this project? And I said, yeah, when it comes around. And then I got the audition like days after my dad died.
Oh my gosh.
Which he died on the 20th. And so I said, I would still love to do this, but I can't do this.
Not right now.
And so they went back to the team because it was supposed to be the summer of 2020.
Oh
Right.
my gosh.
So
And-
everything... So they went back to the team
And they went back to the
said,
team. They
sure.
said a couple weeks, and so they gave me a couple weeks, and then grief just clouds your brain. You can't
Right. Sure.
memorize. So I said to my agent, "Can you call me?" I said, "I can't
Yeah.
do this," and they've already given me time. And if I make a tape now and it's bad, I think they'll be like, "Why is Bonnie
Yeah,
Milligan
yeah.
bad?" You know what I mean?
Right,
But
of
they'd be
course.
like,
This is
"Oh, I thought it'd be
all her
better."
worst case scenario thoughts going through your head. I get
she
it.
had to call them and really talk to them and say what was happening, and they gave me another extension. So I didn't get it until the first week of May.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And my mom was my reader. I literally used her little bookcase with her encyclopedia set.
Yep.
Obviously.
You're welcome. And propped my phone up, and it filmed me. while my
Stars
mom
are just like us.
Had like the sheet, so she read
She's
with
reading
me.
to you. Yeah.
On the other side of the camera
Opposite
in
the
her
camera.
living room, using a lamp without a shade,
Oh
so it
my
could be
God.
light, because I had no ring lights or anything that we learned about during the pandemic.
Right.
Had nothing.
Because this was early on. You do the thing and you send it off, and are you like, "Ee," fingers crossed, or you're like,
Honestly, I was so in such a horrible place emotionally and personally that I was like, I don't think
Whatever.
that's real.
Go with God.
Is that gonna
And
happen?
then,
Who
yeah.
knows?
And then you got
the
the call.
next day, it's yours. No callback. I hadn't worked with the team, and I was like, oh, okay. And so the whole pandemic, you're like, I think I have a job. I don't know.
The
and
next
it kept
day.
getting moved.
Oh my goodness.
And I think we started in September of 21.
wow.
So it took all that time.
You are an inspiration.
And
that
thank
you.
story is so
It
inspirational.
is.
Thank you. It's sometimes really hard to speak up for yourself, especially I feel like there's so much shame around when you're not capable of something because of something like grief.
Right.
You should be stronger. And I think it's important to talk about that, we're not perfect, and sometimes we're a little broken.
Right.
Yes.
And sometimes it's
the
good
human
to say, I
experience.
need help.
That's
Yes.
And I will be capable, but I do
But
need,
right
a
now I need
little
a little
space.
help.
And I found so much power in speaking about that. And in the rehearsal process, I had no idea how hard it would be. This show is so much about making the most of the time you
Yes.
have
Of course.
now.
Oh my gosh.
And it's such a joyful show, but there's also a lot of heartbreak there. And
course.
dealing with me being a grieving human, the team was so sweet with my fragile self. Sometimes I'd have to leave and cry and come back, and nobody ever made me feel bad.
Wow.
It
Oh my
was
God.
it was a real tool in my grieving process. It's been a beautiful gift.
The result was a beautiful
That's right.
piece of work because Victoria Clark, also a Tony winner.
Dream.
The show itself.
I know.
I remember you said she does a real convincing job of playing a 16-year-old.
She does.
And she's not, she's not a young buck. So
No,
it was.
I forget. I feel very protective of her in life now because I feel like she's
Stop
my
it.
niece. No, she'll say something will happen. I'll be like, who did that?
Because
What's happening?
I will cut them.
I will go Aunt Deb on them. I will do this.
Okay, so knowing that you
Yeah.
came into this role grieving,
Yeah.
living in a pandemic, not knowing if you're coming or going, but you nail it on stage.
Thank you.
What did you draw upon? I know you mentioned your castmates, and I believe that when you're paired with the right person, you feel like anything is possible.
100%.
What did you draw upon? Because I think our viewers, we do look at celebrities and stars like, oh, they don't grieve, they don't cry.
They're just
but
perfect
you do.
sculptures of talent.
Right.
That's what I usually say about myself. It's on my collar
That
guard.
topic.
Perfect sculpture of talent. Weirdly, no one's responded to it well, but I'm glad that you picked up on it. No, honestly, the people in the room is what I drew on. Like I mentioned, especially David Lindsay Bear and Janine Tesori, who were really in the room, especially during our off-Broadway run. And I would say, am I on the right track here? Like, I'm seeing love from her. I want to make sure that, and I didn't know if it was Bonnie, the grieving person who had just lost someone who didn't want to go,
Right.
versus the character I wanted to build, wanting to help her niece and love her, but love herself more. Like, it's a tricky line to walk. And so I was just very communicative, and sometimes that's really scary to be like, is this right? Like, do I need to rethink things? Do you think she's more manipulative? And they're like, no, you're on the right track, you're on the right track. And they were so helpful. And Jessica Stone and Danny Mefford really helped sort of get the dial right. That I could be loving, but also incredibly selfish and doing horrible things, but like actually coming from a place of survival.
The real but you know what?
experience.
You had to get bare bones, vulnerability, everything laid out to really have the success.
And I think coming from the pandemic, we all knew very recently what it was to lose something.
Sure.
Whether you lost an actual person, whether you just lost the normalcy of what life was. Your job.
Or your mind.
Who knows? You knew what it was. And so you know the fighting spirit of Deborah, which is clinging for survival and clinging to do whatever it takes to work, to survive. And so that, I think, became a universal feeling that some people maybe started pulling for her more than they thought they would have on the page.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. Well, when the anti-hero becomes like the hero, and you're like,
and that's
relatable.
also just to their writing, because it's so real.
Thank you.
It's just not black and white.
Right.
And I think that we can all learn something from that, and looking at people who've done some things and maybe lead with a little bit more compassion.
Yeah.
Guys, run, don't walk.
Run, don't walk.
Because you can
Run,
still
don't
see
walk.
Bonnie Milligan
Yes.
and Kimberly Akimbo. It's playing at the Booth Theater. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
for
having
this.
me.
This was
So much fun.
an incredible experience for us.
Now when I go, I'm going to envision you running in 90 seconds. Okay, mommy, hug me, but then the hair. Mr. Brady, please.
Real life. Real life. If Wayne Brady isn't there, I don't want it.
Thank you so much.
Bonnie, thank you. All right, after the